Well, good morning, everybody. It's Barb Katie here. I'm so glad to see you. And I'm beginning to really get into these beautiful, a little bit cooler fall days that we're having and enjoying also the change in the color of the weather. I realize that you may be listening to this at a time of the year which is not autumn, but I'm recording it during my favorite season. And I just thought I would mention how pretty it is looking outside my window as I am talking with you. Uh, Today, we're going to talk about something that many people um, sort of shy away from when it comes to healthy eating, but it is a critically important part of a healthy food plan. And the topic today is fiber. Dietary fiber, which usually is just referred to as far as an eating plan as fiber, is a type of carbohydrate found in plants that is not digested or absorbed in the small intestine. It provides bulk to make your digestive system move food along through the tract as it should be and rid the body of waste as is necessary as food transports itself through the digestive tract to be used in many different ways to keep us all healthy. Unlike other carbohydrates, which break down usually into sugars pretty much very quickly, fiber remains largely intact as it passes through the digestive system. It is essential for promoting healthy digestion, supporting heart health, and offering a range of other benefits that make it a critical component in a balanced food plan. There are two basic types of fiber. Uh, they are used differently by the body as tools. One type of fiber is considered as soluble in water, and the other type of fiber is referred to as insoluble in water. Both of these types are essential to consume for optimum health, and they present in our high fiber recipes. Here is a very simple breakdown of some examples. Soluble fiber dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance. It can help lower blood cholesterol and glucose levels. Some ailments that contain uh, that people struggle with uh, might indicate a need to increase this particular type of fiber in the food plan, um, at least on a temporary, if not a regular basis. Uh, some of the foods that contain this type of soluble fiber include things such as oats, apples, all kinds of beans, lentils, peas, flax, and other seeds, nuts, and also barley. Do these sound familiar with you? I think probably they do. And then there is what is called insoluble fiber, which does not dissolve in water. And what it does, it helps to bulk up our stool and promote regular bowel movements. Uh, be very careful, though, if you are already constipated. Uh, Adding these may not be your best choice. You may be better to add more soluble fiber at first until things begin to loosen up and move as they should. It helps to bulk up stools. Uh, And that's important, especially if you're having some type of medical issues that tend to make your stool less than firm. Um, some of the foods that are good at doing this are whole wheat grains, uh, wheat bran. Interestingly enough, cauliflower, and you, I'm sure, have run into lots of substitution in recipes for higher carb foods like whole wheat flour with cauliflower. It is a way of getting that bulk, that insoluble fiber into your food plan. Potatoes are also an example of an insoluble fiber food. Uh, there are many discussions and debates over how much fiber does an individual actually need to be healthy. And the source that I'm citing here today is from Harvard Health. Uh, they feel that women should consume at least 21 to 25 grams of fiber a day, uh, and that men should consume anywhere from 30 to 38 grams of fiber a day. Of course, we're going to adjust for age and body size as we move forward in these estimates. And these are estimates, they're not carved in stone. Your body is not going to cease to function perfectly if you're short or over a few grams on a daily basis. We're trying for an average here. Uh, there are lots of things that we do know from research and careful study that fiber may be good for. According to the Mayo Clinic, consuming adequate fiber stretches just beyond being able to digest uh, uh, food healthily. Here are some other benefits to the body and how it functions that fiber does actually affect. The first one is, of course, our digestive health. Fiber helps to promote regular bowel movements and prevents constipation. Um, Another thing is weight management. Fiber-rich foods can promote feelings of fullness. Thus, it leads to reduced calorie intake. You know, when you feel full, generally the tendency is to stop eating at that point. And so fiber aids in that feeling of fullness that many of us really have trouble identifying. I had a good friend I remember say one time, I just wish once in my life I'd actually feel full. Well, fiber can aid in that. And if you have a diet that has very little fiber in it, that may be a struggle for you. Fiber is also beneficial when it comes to heart health because fiber can help lower the bad cholesterol levels. Therefore, it reduces the risk of heart disease. And that's definitely a benefit in overall good health. Um, Blood sugar control is another area where fiber plays an active part. It helps stabilize blood sugar levels, which can definitely benefit diabetics or those who are pre-diabetic or of at risk of developing type 2 diabetes as they go along in their lives. Another advantage to eating fiber that we don't often think of is cancer prevention. Some studies suggest a high fiber diet may reduce the risk of certain types of cancer, such as colorectal cancer. And then this is something, to be an additional safeguard as we go about living our daily lives. Every food can impact our overall general health and our risk of disease. Um, you might ask yourself, if you have this challenge, what foods may be good for constipation? And there was a study done at Hopkins Medicine that found that foods that are high in soluble or insoluble fiber, or a combination of both, may aid with constipation. Whole grain flour, wheat bran, edible skin of fruits, such as pears and apples. Don't peel them and take all of that fiber off of the outside of them. It has a role. Things like leafy greens, all of the legumes that we've mentioned, the lentils, the peas, um, the beans that we eat, prunes, the famous prune, and again, cauliflower, which because it is low carb, most people tend not to think about quite as much. And if you've noticed the chart beside me as I've been talking, you'll see that there are, in fact, a lot of foods that are low in carbs, which a lot of people, count carbs and are really afraid of eating too many carbs, but they want to get in their fiber. Well, there are foods you can actually eat uh, that are low in carb and also high in fiber. One of my favorite foods happens to be an artichoke. And I was delighted to find that this vegetable actually produces significant fiber. Another one that might surprise you as far as being low carb, low calorie, if you will, uh, in this family of foods is a cucumber. I adore cucumbers. I plant them every year in my garden, and I was totally not aware that they were a good source of fiber until I was preparing this program for us today to look at some of the things that we can eat if we're trying to control our weight. Um, that are also beneficial to a different area of our health that we don't always consider. Mushrooms are a really good source to consider as well. Uh, Asparagus, avocados. I think a lot of us know some of the foods that we more intuitively will pick out, but berries are a wonderful source of fiber too, and yet add sweetness uh, to the flavor profiles of the foods we eat and enjoy every day. Another thing that I'd like you to just consider is how easy it is to incorporate fiber into your daily diet. It does not have to be an ordeal. I don't know about you, but very often for breakfast, I'll have oatmeal. A cup of cooked oatmeal will be the basis for my breakfast foundation. And I'll add to that a serving of a fruit like raspberries. Sometimes I actually like to cook my raspberries in with my oatmeal. Um, it's a delightful sweetness to add to what can be at times a rather bland breakfast. Uh, that's quite easy to do. Doesn't take a lot of work. And then you just like sprinkle maybe a tablespoon of chia seeds on top of that as you're cooking it. And that helps soften up the chia seeds and makes for just a lovely, lovely snack. If you don't want to do it that way, there's not a problem with that. Maybe you want to save those raspberries and sprinkle them with chia seeds as a snack between your breakfast and lunch. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, we get to prepare our foods in ways that are most satisfying to us. And if we really want to focus on being successful, long term, we want to eat food that actually is a pleasure and that we enjoy. And making sure that the foods we choose for our meals throughout the day meet that requirement. Food's supposed to be pleasurable. It's supposed to be something you actually like to do, is to eat healthy and to eat well in order to fuel your body properly. Lunches are quite easy. One of my favorite lunches usually starts with a bed of spinach. And it's raw spinach, so I can knock myself out and have a big bowl of spinach to build my salad around. If you're a person that likes avocado, you can certainly add avocado to it. Half of a medium is pretty standard. And if avocado is not your favorite food, if you're one of those people that it tastes soapy to, then don't eat the avocado. Pick another healthy fat that you can enjoy in moderation for your lunch and use that instead. I do a lot of lunches with low-fat yogurt, particularly Greek yogurt. I like the tang that Greek yogurt has, and very often I'll grate a little bit of lemon zest into it as well, and do a squeeze maybe of a half a lemon to make a dressing for my lunch salad. And then I'll throw in uh, a few nuts as well to again uh, enhance the flavor and the texture of what I'm eating. And generally, one of my favorites is an ounce of almonds. And I buy the slivered almonds a lot because it seems like if I try to chop up almonds, they fly all over the counter. So I'll use slivered almonds a lot. And then maybe I'll add some other crispy vegetables to the mix, like maybe a stalk of celery chopped up in it, or maybe some strips of pepper, whatever I have laying around there, and then some chickpeas. I'll throw those in, and I am building as I'm putting together this very simple lunch more fiber into my food plan. It'll total up if you add the almonds and the spinach and the chickpeas to, I'd say, roughly around 16 grams of that 30 grams of fiber that you're trying to reach in the course of a day. And then I usually like an afternoon snack. It's one of my very enjoyable things to do. Usually I'll do that when I come in from my walk. And I like carrots. I don't know about you, but I like to cut up a carrot into strips and then enjoy the carrot with a half a cup of hummus, which is made from chickpeas most commonly, and olive oil, and a little bit of tahini or uh, a tad of natural nut butter of some kind. Uh, at any rate, that snack is going to total up to about 7.5 grams of added fiber. Um, and it tastes good. It's not something unpleasant or something you think you have to force down. You can sit down with a cup of hot tea, especially if you like herb tea, which I do, and just eat your carrot sticks dipped in hummus and feel really wonderful about what you're doing to build a happy, healthy life. And then for dinner, then you can perhaps have a piece of grilled chicken with some quinoa. And I am a person that really likes quinoa. Not everybody does, but it's one of my favorites, or any of the many grains that are available out there. I'm also a big fan of farro. Uh, and of course, brown rice. And, we can go through the list of all of the grain foods that are available. And they basically are similar in fiber content. Um, some have a gram or two more or less, and you can adjust as your flavor palette and your needs dictate that you should. Uh, and again, just with that simple dinner of a grain, grilled chicken, and maybe some green beans that you would throw in there, you're topping out again at almost 8 grams of fiber. So, in the course of a day, it does not take much with effort or planning. If you look at how you normally eat and the foods you really like to eat, to do a low carb, high fiber meal plan, especially if you're struggling with proper bowel movements. Uh, to get to the 30 grams of fiber per day in general, add more of these low carb, high fiber foods to your plan, as well as the fruits and vegetables that you may not even had been aware had good fiber content. Uh, if you take a cup of split pea soup uh, and add to it a cup of cooked artichokes, you've pretty much gotten an entire day's worth of fiber in that one bowl. And by the time you season it to the way you like it, it is just a delightful soup that you can have to help you through your day. And help you enjoy the foods you're eating as you go along. I really encourage you very highly to take a look at high fiber foods, especially low cal, high fiber foods that are available. And the list that I have up here on display, if you look at the bottom of it, you will see a place where you can contact for more information. That is one that I am comfortable recommending that is based on good science. The nutritional data comes from the NDB .nal.usda.gov site. And I do recommend that you go to reputable sites when you're looking up information for trying to live your best life and being as healthy as you possibly can be. I would really appreciate it if some of you have found some high fiber, low carb foods that you incorporate into your daily food plans if um, you feel the need to share those with us. And if it has a recipe, please take a moment to jot down the recipe as well, because we're on this together. We all want to learn together, and we all want to have a smile on our faces and live our healthiest, happiest lives every single day. And with that, I'm going to bid all of you a very fond adieu and hope that you get out there in the world today, breathe the fresh airs, pick up your feet, and just be happy to be alive. I will talk to you later. Bye for now.